Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. This is a Junk Journal with Me episode working in my faith journal. And this time the passage that I am looking at is Philippians 4:8. So let me read it to you. It's kind of a mixture between the New Living Translation and the New International Version. Mixed with my own paraphrase. So it says, fix your thoughts on whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. So a really, really lovely scripture, that one. And so I'll just share how it's speaking to me at this time. But let me just chat through my process first of all. I've got my journaling Bible here and I'm just highlighting that particular scripture with this green highlighter. And then later on in this video, I'll annotate that passage, I'll date it, and I'll just write a little note about how it's speaking to me. But first I'll go over to my faith journal that I got from the lovely Michelle from The Paper Addiction, and I'm working on this page spread, and I love all of the layers, how you can see the previous page spread, and it's just really cool. I love that layered effect. So I'm just choosing some Polaroids from my botanical Polaroid collection in my Etsy shop, and I choose two that I think I might want to use. This is my favourite one, I think. I know it's not blue, but I just love how subtle it is and just how pretty it is, and the pastels, and like it's a meadow of flowers and just really, really soft and very pretty. The other one is of those snowdrops, and I really like snowdrops and just how simple and delicate and sweet and pure they are. To me, they kind of represent purity, just in how white and simple they are. And so I could have used that. What that particular Polaroid was speaking to me about was purity, but the other Polaroid, the pink one, was speaking to me about the loveliness in that particular scripture, all things that are lovely. But first I'm grabbing this beautiful piece of paper. This came from In Love Art Shop, so it actually arrived today, my most recent package from them, and I got a bunch of papers, and so I thought I would use one of the papers for this page. And I really love this one because, well, it's got blue and it's got florals, but also because it has that writing space in the middle. I love that. That's my favorite combination, where you can have a paper or a page that is pretty but also has some writing space on it. So I'm just grabbing my ruler and ripping it so that it can fit. And then that's where I write the scripture, in that middle square. And now I've just got to choose which Polaroid I want to glue at the top of the page so it overlaps that piece. But first I'm gluing this piece down. In the end, I did go with the pretty pink floral Polaroid, just because at the moment what God is mostly speaking to me through the scripture in particular is the loveliness element, the beauty element. I've kind of shared about this before in previous videos in terms of how it relates to light, how things of beauty and lovely things and pretty things give me a bit of joy, and make me feel loved, and show me God, essentially. I see God in the beauty around me, and I just see his good gifts in the beauty that he has created and that he has given to us. Wherever that is that we may find it. We may find it in sunsets, we may find it in creation and the beaches and nature and flowers around us, but it can also be very specific to each individual person. So each of us may find beauty in different things. And I think that's one way that God can speak to us on an individual level and let us know how much he loves us through those things that we just see him in. So I see beauty in my cat. I see beauty in my journals. I see beauty in craft supplies and pretty papers. And I see beauty in my roller skates. And I see beauty in people and in conversations with people and all that kind of thing. And just to take the time out to appreciate them and remember that God is in those things and that they are good things. They are good gifts from God. And just the gratitude from that is just, to acknowledge that and to always ever be grateful for them. I will now write out the scripture here on that journaling space there. And it's just really, really, very encouraging, especially when our thoughts can so easily turn to dark places and ugly things. So I've shared a bit about this before in previous videos, but my mind can turn into just cycles of self-loathing sometimes, and just thinking thoughts that aren't true and thinking thoughts that are more negative or darker and all that kind of stuff. And we all have those moments. I think every single one of us has those moments. And so something that can help when we have those moments is to think about things that are lovely, and also all of those other things on that list. Things that are true, things that are noble, things that are right, things that are pure, things that are lovely and admirable, things that are excellent and worthy of praise. So instead of thinking about things that are dark and ugly and self-loathing and bitterness or just things like that, we can fix our thoughts on these other beautiful, good things. But it can take effort, It can take some energy and some effort to catch ourselves when we're thinking the not so great thoughts, and then to make that effort, that conscious effort to fix our thoughts on these other better things to think about. So one thing that helps me is a question: is this helpful? Is what I'm thinking about helpful? And if it isn't, if it's just spiraling me down into this pit of, self-loathing or despair or hopelessness or whatever it is, it's clearly not helpful. So then to go, okay, well, if it isn't helpful, what is helpful? And it's right here laid out in the scripture. What is helpful is to fix your thoughts on these other wonderful things. But I love that's not just about, here's this thing to do, but do these things because it has a purpose. Do these things because it's going to have a good effect on your mind, on your heart, on your soul, on your body, in your spirit. Do these things because it's going to actually help you in life and be good for you and better for you, good for your health, good for your well-being, good for how you live. And so I like also how this scripture is couched in peace. So the scripture beforehand talks about peace, the scripture afterwards talks about peace. So that tells me that this peace here is something that we can do to bring peace in our lives. That when we have those thoughts of darkness and ugliness and bitterness and self-judgment and all that kind of stuff, that's not bringing peace. That might be bringing pain and just that self-hatred and that judgment and that criticism and that darkness, that dark place, and we can get overwhelmed and we can get lost there and confused in that place. But instead of living in that place, we can fix our thoughts on these things that will give us peace in our minds, in our hearts, in our bodies, in our lives, in our souls, in our spirits. And I love that. I love the idea that this is practical stuff here. It's not like, oh, that sounds nice, but if we do this, we will see good things happen because of this, instead of the negative, unhelpful things that we see if we go along with the dark thoughts. And so perhaps that there's a lot of stuff there, but to choose one thing that we can think of in those dark times, that we can go, all right, I'm going to pick things that are true. So maybe your thoughts are lying to you, and you can go, all right, I'm just going to think about things that are true. I am loved. God is with me. I'm never alone. He will never leave or forsake me. He has called me by name. I'm a child of God. I'm a new creation. I'm made in his image. I'm made for good. He's made me for a purpose. All those things. So we could fix our thoughts on those true things. Or we can fix our thoughts on things that are, for me, what I'm mostly focusing on in this particular scripture is things that are lovely. So yes, my thoughts can sometimes turn to dark places, but I can remember, hang on a minute, look at that beautiful flower, look at that beautiful cat, look at that beauty that is all around me. And for me personally, that lifts me out. That lifts me out of any I know, the dark thoughts and the dark place, because it helps me to remember that there is joy around me. There are things around me that make me smile. There are happy, beautiful things out there, joyful things, things of delight. And it won't be the same for everyone necessarily, but beauty really calls to my heart. It speaks to my soul, and it's something that I can use intentionally in my life to think about, to draw my thoughts on, and fix my thoughts on, and that helps me. So I hope that makes sense. As I shared before, in 2015 and 16, I went through depression and anxiety, and even though I don't have depression or anxiety anymore, I'm still human, and I think every human goes through moments every now and then, whether it's just a night or a day where they have a dark time. For other people, it might be a bit longer, or depends on what season we're going through, or what event or situation we're going through. We might find it's not just a night, it might be a whole week, or that we're just in a dark place. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. And we all have that. You're not alone if you have those thoughts. But this scripture gives us a really practical tool to help us, that we can fix our thoughts, and that, I don't know, it's just fix your thoughts, right? Like if we can just grab hold of that, fix your thoughts. It's like, don't just wander around and drift around, but fix your thoughts on them, and that will help combat the dark thoughts. But there's no need to shame ourselves when those dark thoughts come. We don't have to think, oh, I'm such a terrible person, I shouldn't think like this. No, we can just let those thoughts come and go. They can be there, and we can let them come and go. And when we notice them, we can just fix our thoughts to these other lovely things. So yeah, I hope this is all helpful. And if you want to share things that help you to fix your thoughts on whatever it might be, I don't know, it could be a poem that really helps you, or a song that you want to play that helps you, or you just want to chat to people and that helps you, talking to people, but that we can do things, that we don't have to stay in that dark place. It's okay to have that dark place, but we don't have to ever stay there, that we can find things that can help us, and that will be personal to each person, and it might take a bit of time maybe finding those things and appreciating those things. And so the longer I live, the more I come to appreciate these things that are lovely around me, the more I come to appreciate their significance, their worth, their value. Because before I could have just dismissed it. It was like, oh, who cares about that thing? That doesn't matter. But now I'm like, no, it matters so much, because it matters for my well-being, it matters for my soul, it matters for my spirit. And so find those things for you that just speak to you, that bring you alive, that give you a bit of joy and a bit of delight and a bit of light in general. So that is my spiel on that. I hope it was helpful, very rambly, but thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.